just one moment, everything changed. She was the pride of her family, full of dreams. And then, one night, she vanished, straight from her bed. No broken door, no scream, no trace, no evidence, no witnesses. And the truth that finally emerged was more terrifying than anyone could imagine. This wasn't just a murder. It was the work of a silent predator, one who could knock on anyone's door, even yours. Watch if you dare, because this isn't just a story. It's a waking nightmare.
Eve Carson was born on November 19, 1985, in Athens, Georgia. From an early age, she stood out. In high school, she served as student council vice president, volunteered at a nursing home and a teen shelter, worked as a congressional page, and even assisted in stem cell research, all while excelling academically. Eve continued to shine at the University of North Carolina. She pursued a double major in political science and biology, earned a prestigious scholarship, and led various student organizations. She taught elementary science and participated in outreach programs across multiple countries. On March 5th, Eve, now 22, chose to stay home and study while her roommates went out to a party. By the time they returned around 4:30 a.m., Eve and her car were gone. The front door was ajar, the lights still on. Something felt wrong. The next morning, police responded to a report of gunshots and a scream just a mile away. There, they discovered the body of a young woman, shot multiple times. No ID, no phone. When Eve's friends saw the photo, their worst fears were confirmed. Detectives pieced together a timeline. Eve was alive and working at her computer until around 3:30 a.m., but by 5 a.m., she had been murdered. Her car and wallet were missing. Her phone's last signal pinged from outside town. The phone itself was never found. The first major clue came from Eve's bank account. Just 18 minutes after she stopped using her computer, $700 was withdrawn in 2 separate transactions, her daily limit. ATM footage showed a man using her card in her car with a shadowy figure in the back seat. A second withdrawal attempt came on March 7 at a convenience store. This time, a different man was caught on camera. The police now suspected multiple individuals were involved. They released the images to the public, hoping for leads. On March 12th, an anonymous tip identified the second man as 21-year-old Dario Atwater, already known to law enforcement. That lead soon brought them to 17-year-old Lawrence Levet. He matched the first suspect seen in the ATM footage. Phone records placed both men in Eve's neighborhood. Police believe they forced her into her own car, drove her to various ATMs, and once they'd reached the limit, took her to a secluded spot and executed her. To avoid the death penalty, Dario confessed. He claimed Lawrence had planned it all. Eve begged them for mercy, even asked them to pray with her. But they shot her instead. A cold-blooded execution.
In April 2010, Dario was sentenced to life plus 30 years. Lawrence, who was a juvenile, received a life sentence after his trial in 2011. But the story didn't end there. In 2013, Lawrence's sentence was overturned due to a Supreme Court ruling on juvenile life sentences. But in a new trial, the judge upheld the original life sentence. Lawrence showed little remorse. Authorities also suspect Lawrence may have been involved in another student's murder just months earlier. But lacking evidence, no charges were filed. Eve's tragic death led to tougher laws on gang-related crime in North Carolina. The University of North Carolina honored her with a memorial garden and scholarship. In 2009, one of Eve's close friends, now a finalist on American Idol, shared how her life and loss inspired him to follow his dreams. Certainly. Here is the full moral message of Eve Carson's story, rewritten in clear, natural English paragraphs. Perfect for the final 5 minutes of a YouTube documentary voiceover. Eve Carson was a bright mind and a kind heart, a young woman who stood as a beacon of hope and light for others. She was exceptional in academics, passionate about service, and committed to making the world a better place. But tragically, her life was cut short by 2 young men who chose violence over values. Her death shattered not only a family but an entire nation. Her story teaches us that goodness never dies. Eve's kindness, compassion, and service still live on today in the form of scholarships, memorials, and the countless lives she touched. She may be gone, but her light continues to shine in the hearts of many. We also learn that crime doesn't excuse youth. The men who killed her were young, but their actions were brutal. The justice system held them accountable, because age does not protect you from the consequences of your choices. That's a powerful reminder for all young people. If you choose the path of crime, you choose destruction of others and of yourself. This case also shows how silence can be dangerous. Without the help of the public, without people speaking up and identifying the suspects, this case might never have been solved. That's why speaking out against injustice isn't just brave, it's necessary. Silence protects the guilty, courage protects the innocent. Another powerful lesson lies in the importance of parenting and community guidance. The killers lacked direction, empathy, and purpose. Perhaps if someone had guided them earlier, taught them values, offered them hope, Eve would still be alive. That's a message for every parent, teacher, and mentor. Raising good humans matters just as much as raising smart ones. Eve's tragic death is a heartbreaking loss, but her life offers a rare and lasting lesson. One person, through love, service, and purpose, can truly change the world. We must strive to be like her, to live not just for ourselves, but for others, to stand up against evil, to leave behind a legacy of kindness. In the end, Eve's light will never dim. Her smile, her service, and her spirit will live on. Let us all promise to keep that light alive through our actions, our voices, and the way we treat others.